So my lesson is actually going to be on similes and metaphors, and we're going to be reading a short story by Sandra Cisneros entitled 11. So the class before I would have introduced what a simile and a metaphor was, and then I would ask the class, does anyone know what a metaphor is? And if they didn't, that's okay because I have the answer. And then I would ask again, does anyone remember what a simile is? And again, if they don't know, I have the answer. Now I would read it out loud. Then we would watch the first video on Sandra Cisneros reading her poem, and I would have all the kids underline all the similes and metaphors that they found. After this, they would pick a partner and share and underline any missing similes and metaphors. At this time, I would walk around the room and listen into their conversations and try to write down which kids are struggling. Then we're actually going to have a second reading that has props. So if I have a box with props. So we have balloon, yeah, they are. But I didn't want to fill them with helium, so. There's that. And then. No. You want to fill one? Sure. Yellow. And then onion or box. And then you can have the onion kind of. It's been in there all day.
Oh.
Different.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Can you smell it?
Yes.
It's not like the essence of it.
Okay, so as she's reading the poem out loud, I want everyone to follow along, and as she's saying the metaphor or the simile that goes along with your prop, you're going to showcase it. So the person with the onion, you're going to stand up out of your seat and just go like this and show everybody this is what an onion is. The person who has the penny box is just going to get up and rattle it 3 times to indicate that's what pennies sound like inside of a tin box when you rattle it. And then the balloon is towards the end of the short story. And everyone is going to throw it in the middle and imagine it floating away into the distance. Now to indicate when the student is supposed to go, I will walk behind them and place my hand on their shoulder to say it's almost your time. And I will be the first person to throw in the balloon to indicate that everybody else can throw their balloon. So everybody ready? Ready?
Yes.
Okay. And I have the fast forward to this. Oh, go back.
This program, in the Lannan Literary Video Series, and the reading you are about to see, were produced by the Lannan Foundation. The Foundation's literary program is dedicated to supporting outstanding contemporary literature and presenting exceptional writers to a wider audience.
11. What they don't understand about birthdays, and what they never tell you, is that when you're 11, you're also 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And when you wake up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything's just like yesterday, only it's today. And you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10, and you are, underneath the year that makes you 11. Like some days, you might say something stupid, and that's the part of you that's still 10. Or maybe some days, you might need to sit on your mama's lap because you're scared. And that's the part of you that's 5. And maybe one day when you're all grown up, maybe you will need to cry like if you're 3. And that's okay. That's what I tell Mom when she's sad and needs to cry. Maybe she's feeling 3. Because the way you grow old is kind of like an onion.
Thank you.
Or like the rings inside a tree trunk. Or like the little wooden dolls that fit one inside the other. Each year inside the next one. That's how being 11 years old is. You don't feel 11. Not right away. It takes a few days, weeks even, sometimes even months before you say 11. When I ask you, and you don't feel smart 11. Not until you're almost 12. That's the way it is. Only today, I wish I didn't have only 11 years rattling inside me like pennies in a tin bandit. I wish I was 102 instead of 11, because if I was 102, I had known what to say when Mrs. Price put the red sweater on my desk. I would have known how to tell her it wasn't mine. Instead of just sitting there with that look on my face and nothing coming out of my mouth. Whose is this? Mrs. Price says, and she holds the red sweater up in the air for all the class to see. Whose? It's been sitting in the coat room for a month. Not mine, says everybody. Not me. It has to belong to somebody, Mrs. Price keeps saying. Nobody can remember. It's an ugly sweater with red plastic buttons and a collar and sleeves all stretched out like you could use it for a jump rope. It's maybe 1,000 years old, and even if it belonged to me, I wouldn't say so. Maybe because I'm skinny. Maybe because she doesn't like me. That stupid Sylvia Saldivar says, I think it belongs to Rachel. An ugly sweater like that, all raggedy and old. But Mrs. Price believes her. Mrs. Price takes the sweater and puts it right on my desk. But when I open my mouth, nothing comes out. That's not, you're not mine, I finally say in a little voice that was maybe me when I was 4. Of course it's yours, Mrs. Price says. I remember you wearing it once. Because she's older and the teacher, she's right and I'm not. Not mine. But Mrs. Price is already turning to page 32 and math problem number 4. I don't know why, but all of a sudden I'm feeling sick inside, like the part of me that's 3 wants to come out of my eyes, only I squeeze them shut tight and bite down on my teeth real hard and try to remember. Today I am 11. Mama's making a cake for me for tonight, and when Papa comes home, everybody will sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. But when the sick feeling goes away and I open my eyes, the red sweater's still sitting there like a big red mountain. I move the red sweater to the corner of my desk with my ruler. I move my pencil and books and eraser as far from it as possible. I even move my chair a little to the right. Not mine, not mine. In my head, I'm thinking how long till lunchtime? How long till I can take the red sweater and throw it over the schoolyard fence, or leave it hanging on a parking meter, or bunch it up into a little ball and toss it in the alley. Except when math period ends, Mrs. Price says loud and in front of everybody, now Rachel, that's enough. Because she sees I've shoved the red sweater to the tippy-tip corner of my desk and it's hanging all over the edge like a waterfall, but I don't care. Rachel, Mrs. Price says. She says it like she's getting mad. You put that sweater on right now and no more nonsense. But it's not now, Mrs. Price says. This is when I wish I wasn't 11, because all the years inside of me, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 are pushing at the back of my eyes when I put one arm through one sleeve of the sweater that smells like cottage cheese, and then the other arm through the other, and stand there with my arms apart like if the sweater hurts me, and it does, all itchy and full of germs that aren't even mine. That's when everything I've been holding in since this morning, since when Mrs. Price put the sweater on my desk, finally lets go. And all of a sudden, I'm crying in front of everybody. I wish I was invisible, but I'm not. 11, and it's my birthday today, and I'm crying like I'm 3 in front of everybody. I put my head down on the desk and bury my face in my stupid clown sweater arms, my face all hot and spit coming out of my mouth because I can't stop the little animal noises from coming out of me, till there aren't any more tears left in my eyes, and it's just my body shaking like when you have the hiccups. My whole head hurts like when you drink milk too fast. The worst part is right before the bell rings for lunch. That stupid Phyllis Lopez, who's even dumber than Sylvia Saldivar, says she remembers the red sweater is hers. Take it off right away and give it to her. Only Mrs. Price pretends like everything's okay. Today, I'm 11. There's a cake Mom is making for tonight, and when Papa comes home from work, we'll eat it. There'll be candles and presents, and everybody will sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Rachel. Only it's too late. I'm 11 today. I'm 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But I wish I was 102. I wish I was anything but 11, because I want today to be far away.
So then at this time we would throw our balloons in if you
Far
want.
away, like
If you
a
don't want
runaway
to, don't.
balloon, like a tiny ball in the sky. So tiny, tiny. You have to close your eyes to see it.
And then now we have to pick them off.
Oh.
I did not anticipate. I'll pick them up
We
later.
can get them later.
Yeah. So, sorry that was kind of long, but again, it's intended for children that can't read as fast. So, sorry. So then at this time, I would have the class get into groups again and discuss why she used the onion simile. Does it make sense? Can you explain why it is effective or ineffective? And then again, I would monitor and see who's getting it, who's not getting it. Then I would try to examine it myself. So first you need to visualize the comparison. You have to imagine what the object is doing. Describe the object's scent, taste, appearance, texture, and noise. Describe what the object is doing. Is it moving? Is it doing something that is untypical? Does it make sense? Sorry. Is what I am visualizing making sense to what the author intended? Pick out your best answer and give your support. So I would read out the entire simile, which is, the way you grow old is kind of like an onion, or like the rings inside of a tree trunk, or like my little wooden dolls that fit one inside the other, each year inside the next one. And then I would ask the class, is this a simile or a metaphor? Hopefully they'd all say simile. And then the first one I would do is describing the smell of the onion, because that's the strongest, and it smells pretty bad. Does this make sense? Maybe if she used it to symbolize that growing up stinks. And that would definitely go along with the story, because she didn't have a positive experience, right? But wait, is this what the author intended? No, this is not what the author intended, because the rest of the simile doesn't have stinky objects. So, I don't know, yeah. So we have to read the entire sentence in order to really analyze what the author is getting to. So this is a good example as to why this would not be the answer. Then I would describe what I see, and I see layers. Yes, this would make sense because Rachel growing up doesn't